All right, let's go out to New Jersey and bring in our very own Tom Verducci, who yesterday for Sports Illustrated wrote a column explaining why it is critical. It's never been more critical for Major League Baseball owners and players to reach a settlement and get this season underway. Tom, what's at stake here? Why do you think it's so critical?
Future of the game's at stake. And that's not a hyperbole because, listen, there's been 8 work stoppages before in baseball. The last one was 25 years ago. Think about how much the sports landscape has changed. We have so many more options now that baseball players and owners can't think, well, people will just come back to us if we shut down for the 2020 season, when, by the way, most other sports are up and running. Plus, add on this huge economic downturn that's going to affect years going forward. So I think when we're talking about the 2020 season, guys, we're talking about years at stake here, not just 2020.
The Players Union expected to counter the owner's proposal by suggesting they'd be willing to play more games. Do you think this is a good idea, and do you think this will get the deal done?
I mean, it's a good idea by the players, right? Because they expect to be paid on a prorated basis. So if we play 82 games, you're essentially getting half your salary. They can come back and say, hey, we're willing to play more games. Obviously, they would earn more money under their plan. But here's the deal, guys. I'm not sure MLB would sign up for that because they expect, and I think all of us really do, that we're not going to have fans in the stands anytime soon, probably all year if there is a season. So essentially, you have 82 games times 0 ballpark revenue is the same answer, the same sum as 100 times 0. So the other thing to keep in mind, too, is if they do add more games and the season gets pushed so that the postseason goes into November, MLB is worried about, as every business is, a second wave of coronavirus during the fall flu season. So much of the TV money, 50%, 59% of the TV money, national TV money, comes from the postseason. So MLB wants to make sure that they get an entire postseason in. So extending the season into November puts the postseason at risk.
Now, agent Scott Boras went out there and was negotiated over $1 billion in contracts, has told the players not to bail out the owners. What's your response to those comments?
Well, listen, he's got a lot of sway in the union right now. There's on the board, the union's board, he has 3 players. No other agent has more than 1. He's really got the ear of Tony Clark. So what he's saying is, hey, listen, these clubs went out there and they renovated stadiums. They bought their teams. They took out a lot of loans to help finance those moves. Why should we bail them out? And he's right to a certain extent. But he also has to say, players as a group, do we want to invest in this game going forward? So if a restaurant is hurt by the coronavirus and you work at that restaurant, you want to see it stay in business and be vital. So you might have to make some sacrifices beyond the fact that whatever the owners did years ago to take out loans really was done before we knew anything about global pandemics. But I will say he's got a lot of influence, guys, and he has kept the union together with the help of Tony Clark.
Now, the Nationals ace and member of the executive committee of the union, Max Scherzer, went out there and said that the players shouldn't take a second pay cut. Do you think this reflects what the majority of the players are feeling?
Well, that was the feeling that they had on a conference call Wednesday. Max Scherzer is a Scott Boras client, one of the 3 of his on that board. 2 things jumped out at me. Number one here, what Max is saying is that they don't even want to talk about any more pay cuts. I thought maybe philosophically they might be opposed to the sliding pay scale proposal, or maybe the math wasn't right. He's basically saying, forget the math. We're done taking any kind of pay cut. The other thing that jumped out, guys, was I think it speaks to the animosity between the 2 sides, where he basically said, we don't think they're bargaining in good faith, because he had that statement there that, hey, if their books were made public, if you knew what the numbers truly were, then you would realize that they're not in the dire straits that they think they are. When you have distrust like that in negotiations, man, we've seen it before in the past with baseball, that doesn't bode really well to getting something done. And something needs to be done fairly quickly if you want to save an 82-game season.
Hey, Tom, very, very quickly, we got to let you go. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Are we going to have a baseball season?
I say yes, and here's why. The downside to having one is too big. That's the biggest incentive of all to get something done.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. And be sure to check out more of the best clips from Speak For Yourself, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.